And so, that's what's ultimately driven this massive heyday back to it, right? It's not only gotten old school 4-cycle guys back, it's gotten new guys in. It's not scary for new people to get in. You still will, plenty of new people there's still a room for engine builders at least to dip their toes in with the 206 stuff, to get to max tolerances, to go through them, to make sure they're all good. But at the same time, being a sealed spec motor, the costs are down. You're out the door from Comet Kart sales, right? With everything you need, Gary, what are we around? Just over $1,000, more or less, with a pipe, with a clutch and everything, maybe around 1,200.
Yeah, once you get a motor mount and everything, and if I work on it, you're looking at more like 1,500. That's with a nice Odenthal mount that is almost $300. So yeah, I think that's a fair price.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a price that, can get guys in, especially now with the new packages that are coming out there. Chassis are coming out with economy packages, or at least right around a good price point at, $3,000 for the frame. The Comet Eagle 206 combination, is that still under $5,000 or right around that price point, which is pretty decent to get guys in?
Yep, absolutely. A roller's right around 34. So when you put your engine package on, you're right under 5,000.
And that's been the biggest drive forward with it, with keeping the costs down, both just to entry along with the maintenance of it. Now, we've seen Briggs be really involved. I think that's probably the coolest part. Gary and John, you guys both know Briggs really well with the flathead area. And then obviously they've driven 4-cycle racing all the way through. They're going to have a massive presence here. They're paying to sponsor in a big way a bunch of different events throughout the country. They help the CKNA guys a lot. They're going to help bring us out there as well, which we're really excited about. Looking towards the future, where do you see events like CKNA, and where do you see what does the sport look like with 4-cycle racing in 5 years? Where would you like it to be, as we look towards, let's say, 2026, starting with you, John, this time?
I'm kind of in a unique situation. This is the first year that Cup Karts South kicked off. And, a lot of the inaugural year events were right around 100 go-karts. There's some considerable changes coming to the program. I think they're going to go 2-day program. They're looking to add a track, at least one track outside of Florida. It's sounding like it's going to be a 4 different venues with 2 races per venue. I think as far as karting in the Southeast goes, I think it's really only going to go up. They say any advertisement is good advertisement. There's been a lot of excitement regarding 206 racing in the South here recently, and that's good. I mean, that's got a lot of people talking. They like the rules. A lot of people are happy with the direction of that series.
And then Gary, on to you. Are there any things that you like that you're seeing, in 206 racing? Because you've been around karting. It wasn't like from 2001 to the end of the flathead area, and then we didn't see it. You've been working in the sport, obviously, full time, even before your time at Comet. Not a lot of people know you're even a driver, coach, and tuner for Braden Eves, who's on the show regularly for a little over a year. Help mold a bunch of drivers. You've seen promoters both in 4-cycle and 2-cycle, engine promoters, series promoters, track promoters, good and bad and in between. If there's anything you tell, Briggs or CKNA or any other promoters with 206 racing to get that vision you want in 5 years, what are some notes that you like that you want to keep going and maybe to work on?
The most important thing I think that Cup Karts has done, and just 206 in general, is they built it from the ground up, as far as, not the top-down approach that some of the other organizations have had. They're kind of trying to take from their top tier and kind of spread it out. But instead of building up locally, now you got a lot of local guys that have kind of graduated back up to the regional and then to the national stuff. Whereas, we've had for years now at the high level 2-cycle series, there's a lot of people there that shouldn't really be there at the national events. And that's all there really is to choose from. And, they try to double dip on, having multiple drivers to build entries instead of, you go to this Cup Karts race now, the Grands, it's going to be a lot of single entries to build those entries. So there's a lot of drivers there now. And the 206s made it really simple. They've really kept the costs down so that, everyone can get started. Definitely a $8,000 or $10,000 tag package for someone that certainly isn't qualified to jump into that right away in their first year or two of karting. this allows them to get started and kind of, learn on something that's more their speed before they jump into something really fast and just waste a lot of time and money. So I think definitely keeping that bottom up approach and growing it from there has paid dividends and is going to allow people to stay in the sport longer, because the 3 and out for your average carter is just not going to sustain, and it's just hard to get new people in constantly to keep that number going. So if we can keep people in longer and have them kind of grow up through the ranks, and if they want to go on to something like K100 or tag in the future, then that's great, as long as they're staying in karting and not just getting out after 2 or 3 years of struggling in something that's just too hard initially.
And let's talk about, keeping guys in for the sport. You've been racing for such a long time. What's that spark that keeps bringing you back and makes you want to go after and chase more checkered flags year after year?
I don't know. I've just always been really competitive, and I really like honing my craft and just trying to keep getting better no matter what. Doesn't really matter. I just, like to see if I can keep winning. And, it's great that the competition level has gotten so much better with a lot of these 2-cycle guys coming in. And again, the Canadians, and, the prestige is kind of up, and it's intrigued enough people that they want to come do it as well, even though it's not certainly the fastest class. But there's a lot of strategy and still skill involved. And, so definitely the competition level has kept me here.